What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be doing the hardest official challenge in Phasmophobia, the Apocalypse Gold. Let's go ahead and talk about the settings real quick and how this works. So if you go into your custom settings here, or your settings in general, hit the edit button, go to presets, you'll see your 3 Apocalypse challenges right here, bronze, silver, and gold. If you do the gold, it'll go ahead and give you the bronze and silver trophies automatically, but I recommend doing all of them individually because it's going to be a better learning experience as a player for the game. But if you go into the gold here, you're going to notice everything is on max difficulty settings, 0 sanity, no flashlights, 50% player speed, 150% ghost speed, 0 evidence, 0 grace period, nothing in the van, no fuse box, you can't test for Jin because there's no breaker available. There's a lot of things that are very difficult to go ahead and achieve. The biggest pain point, though, out of all these settings is the 50% player speed. It's going to be a long time to get set up. It's very difficult to go ahead and navigate, and positioning is going to matter. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and get into Sunny Meadows full. It has to be done on Sunny Meadows full, not restricted, and it has to be solo. You cannot have a player with you. Let's get in there. In order to go ahead and get the Apocalypse Challenge completed on any one of the difficulties, you have to at least get a photo of the ghost, get the ghost type correct, and get all of your objectives completed. There are some objectives that are going to be substantially easier than others. Escaping, repelling, cleansing, capturing a photo. All of those are going to be guaranteed. You're going to do them no matter what because you already need a photo and you're going to have to repel to survive. Also, Parabolic would be a good one as well. Parabolic is going to be your friend here. I recommend Tier 3 because Tier 3 can hear a floor above you or below you, and it's going to give you an idea how far the ghost is from you, and it's going to let you hear those ghost footstep speeds, how much it's throwing, and if it's going to be loud or anything like that. It's going to let you hear pull-through abilities, Yuri abilities, all that stuff from far away without being in harm's way. So Tier 3 Parabolic, a definite guarantee here. Another thing that's going to go ahead and make your life a little bit easier is the Tier 3 night vision. Now, I don't recommend having the Tier 3 night vision on during the hunt. One, it's hard to go ahead and turn off during the hunt. Sometimes you're going to forget. The ghost's going to know where you are. Secondly, the night vision goggles have so much electronic disturbance during the hunt that you're not going to be able to see the ghost either. So this is good only for really setting yourself up. I would recommend having some Tier 3 lanterns nearby to go ahead and give you some natural light sources. Or another thing you can go ahead and do, since you don't have flashlights, see? Flashlights don't turn on. You can go ahead and utilize Tier 3 dots projector or Tier 2 dots projector because dots do provide a good amount of light sources. So that's also another possibility. But if you don't want to deal with any electronic disturbance, firelights are going to be the way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and bring myself a firelight, an igniter, which is not going to take up an inventory spot, and all the repels I could possibly carry. You're going to need all 4 repels for this. It's going to make it substantially easier. You can decide to use Tier 2 or Tier 3. Honestly, your personal preference. I would highly recommend not using Tier 1 because when you repel a Tier 1, it's not going to impact its speed at all. It's still going to be 150% speed ghost, which could be very, very deadly in the wrong scenario. Throwing all the stuff through the door that I'm not going to need immediately. I'm ready to go back and we're going to get more. This is going to be one of your biggest pain points in getting this set up is because this back and forth with this slow speed here with no sprints or anything is going to take you a minute just for an attempt. Let's grab these. Let's grab 1 salt. The Tier 3 salt's going to come in clutch here because if you put down Tier 3 salt and the ghost walks through it, it's going to slow the ghost down to potentially give you an opportunity for a photo. So it's increasing your survivability percentage. Throw all this in the door. Go back, we're going to get our Parabolic Tier 3. I need a photo camera, and we're going to go ahead and grab whatever else we might need. Maybe a crucifix. Crucifix would be good to have for if you have a Wraith, Banshee, or Phantom that might go ahead and teleport or stalk on top of you, because if it does that on this difficulty with 0 grace period, 0 sanity, you are immediately dead. So 1 cruci, photo camera, and Parabolic. I think we're good to get started. Now. I'm going to bring the Parabolic with me, firstly, with my stuff here. So that's going there. And I'm going to bring the photo camera as well. This is what I'm going to have for my loadout initially when I go in. Incense for protection, Parabolic to hear where the ghost is, and a photo camera in case by some chance in events it gives me a free ghost photo. So here we go. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Night vision goggles on to start. Door shut. Do I hear any ghost hunting sounds nearby? I do not. Now, this could be a good thing initially because the ghost is not going to go ahead and get to you too quickly. But it could be bad as well, because if the ghost is super, super far away, to get set up in that far distance would be difficult. Okay. I do hear the ghost hunting. It sounds like it's in the courtyard. I think we should try to go ahead and get some stuff here. We may set ourselves up here in the side office. Not that the office is a good spot, but if the ghost is going to be that close where it's going to be in the courtyard, then we have to probably try to leverage what we have up front here and not get too far in case the ghost gets in front of us and get unlived. That's why I was saying that positioning definitely matters here, because if the ghost tries to come at you when you're setting up and you're not ready for it, you're going to go ahead and blow your whole attempt. So you want to play very, very safely if possible. Yep, still hunting down the left there. Leaving all my incense there. Gonna start moving my stuff slowly but surely further in. And there's so many ways you can go ahead and about going and getting your stuff further in the location that I'm not gonna go ahead and tell you which one's right and which one's wrong. Honestly, try to see what works for you. I'm sure by now the hunt has stopped. At least that's the hope. The question is, do I want to go and try to get to the chapel, or do I want to go ahead and try to get this done here? It's hunting again. I might stay here. For right now, I might stay here. Get this lantern down so I can see a little bit. I'm not going to put my salt down just yet. 2 incense and my photo camera in case it comes over here to get a photo. Now, it can be very difficult to try to identify 150% ghost speed to see if it's fast or slow if you don't know what 150% speed sounds like. The hunt's over. Now, even I'm not sure that if it's actually a little bit of a faster ghost or not. We're going to have to keep listening to it over and over again to try to determine that. We can test for Roy. We can test for Thay. We can test for those things still. Trying to get myself a little bit closer to the chapel. I think we're going to have more success at the chapel if we can get there. Sadly, we're at capacity for inventory right now. Oh, boy. No hunt yet. Gonna drop my stuff in the chapel. I'm assuming it's spawning somewhere down the hallway. Like, right next to, probably across the hallway from where the opening is to get in the courtyard. Turning off my head cam because the ghost is hunting and I can hear it. That was interesting. It almost sounded like it slowed down there for a second. Maybe I'm mishearing. Normal speed right now. You can see what I'm doing here right now is I'm hiding behind this piano. It's not that bad of a hiding spot. The ghost is running over where our stuff is right now. It sounds like it might be going to the basement or to the foyer. Might be going down to the basement right now, the lower levels. The difficult part to know is, when is the hunt over? Because we don't have our parabolic on us right now. Gonna go make a break to go get my stuff out here. I think the hunt's probably over. I don't hear anything. Okay. Got that. Got that. Let's see if I can get my salt as well. Come here, salt. Going back over to the chapel before it hunts again, hopefully. Oh, boy. We may not make it. Turning off electronics and not give it a reason to come over here. Let's get Salt down here quickly. Salt down there to hopefully slow it down if it comes inside. Lantern down to give me a little bit of light so I can see it coming inside. To see little blinking patterns. When it comes to that door, I want to see it. I want to see what its blinking patterns look like. Putting 1 incense over by my hiding spot. Maybe 2. Let's listen to it again. So what do we know so far? This ghost is not slow enough to be a Revenant. Revenant will be much slower than this. When the Revenant doesn't know where we are, even on 150% speed, very slow, like 1 footstep every second. So very, very slow. Not going to be this ghost. Diogen always knows where we are. This ghost does not. Diogen is out of here. It's not going to be fast or slow twin. I haven't heard any slow twin yet. I feel like maybe I would. So we'll eliminate it for now. And if we have to bring it in later on, we will. I'm able to hear its footsteps from pretty far away. I'm able to hear its footsteps before I even get electronic disturbance, even from where I am now, from far distance. So it's not going to be miling. Ideally, you would want 3 or 4 incense nearby to go ahead and bring one out of your inventory and light it again if the ghost starts to come back towards you after you repel at the initial time and just keep doing that over and over again until it's done. So you're giving yourself essentially that 1 or 2 opportunities to get a photo, and then you're done. It's not sounding like it's getting any faster. But I think this might be a normal speed ghost. Trying to get its attention with my electronics. There we go. I think it's going to come in here. Let's see what we can make happen here. Is it going to step and salt? Step and salt. Repel 1. I think I got the photo. It's done hunting. I got a ghost photo, 3-star. We got all objectives. Now we just have to figure out what the ghost is. And at this moment in time, we can say for sure that it is not going to go ahead and be Wraith because it's stepped in salt. No phantom blinking either. Is it in the photo? She is in the photo, so it's not a phantom. Starting my repel timer as well, a little bit late because I just kind of got caught up in the moment. We're going to see if it just takes it 3 full minutes to hunt for a spirit or if it hunts it less than a minute and 30 for a demon. We'll see what happens. I'm going to make an executive call here and say it's not fast enough for a young Fae, and it is not fast enough for Roy with 0 sanity. Also, when it came in here, it did have access to electronics to speed up from. If it was a Raiju, it did not speed up like a Raiju. So I'm going to say it is not going to go ahead and be Raiju. At this point in time, there's no reason for me to stay right here next to the ghost. I'm going to start backing up, going towards more repels. Another repel at least, because I used 2 there. I think I have 3 repels left. There's one right there. Okay, so I did leave it out here. Aha. I'm going to try to get behind this desk here. So I got 2 repels again, so I could double repel if I have to. And at this point, the name of the game is going to be identifying the ghost on 150% speed. But identifying the ghost on 150% speed with very limited ability to watch blinks. It's a little bit too far out of my range. Hopefully it comes back so I can hear more. It's throwing a decent amount. You know what I'm also going to say? I'm going to say that it was able to know where I was with electronic disturbance. So the only reason it rushed around that wall to come to me in the chapel is because it gave electronic disturbance from definitely over 2.5 meters away. So it's not going to be yokai either. Try to determine if the very brief period I saw it, was it Oni blinking? And I'm going to be very honest, that wasn't something I was really focusing in on at the moment because I was more worried about getting the photo. All I knew for sure was that it wasn't phantom blinking. That was the one that I knew because it was not hard enough to see to be phantom, and I saw it long enough to try to snag the ghost photo. We could definitely say, too, that it hunted less than 3 minutes after the repel, so it's not going to be spirit. But it took it about 1:50 to go ahead and hunt, so it may or may not be demon. You can always have one of those lazy demons. Certain ghosts here that would be very unfortunate to get would be Obake, because you would have to look at the blinking patterns for a considerable amount of time to be able to determine Obake. Jinn, because you cannot test for Jinn on this difficulty, because you don't have Breaker available to you to allow the Jinn to do its ability. Mare would be very unfortunate as well. You would probably have to be in the ghost room to try to get it to do a Mare light switch ability. Even though you don't have any power on, the Mare would still do the light switch ability if you were in there to turn it on to give it something to flick off quickly. But I'm not going in the room to test for that, that's for sure. That would be a very bad idea. And the same thing goes with Shade, to see if the Shade is going to have less activity with you nearby. The Shade would be hard to test for as well. And Ario goes in the same. So those are all very difficult ghosts to test for in this scenario. The ones that would be better would be Demon, Palter, Banshee, and Hantu. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be any of those. Goria would have to be able to determine that it's not changing rooms. One of the things that's kind of sticking in the back of my mind is at the beginning of the round, it did sound like it was getting slower at certain periods of time. Is it because it was a Hantu? Trying to get a little bit closer to listen to more sounds of the parabolic. But it keeps going too far away. It's in the courtyard right now. I can hear it walking on dirt and pavement. And it's done. The hunt is over. I'm going to make a decision and say this is probably not going to be a Banshee at this point. I feel like if it was a Banshee, the ghost would have roamed to me by now to make its presence known somewhere nearby. I am on the same floor as the ghost, so the Banshee roaming is possible, but it's not happening, so I'm going to get rid of Banshee. I always tell people when it comes to apocalypse challenges, getting the photo is the easy part. Getting the ghost correct is the hard one, because there's so many things against you. It's outside again. Not hearing a lot of throws from this ghost, so I'm going to say no poltergeist. I fear that it may be time to go ahead and observe this ghost again. It's blinking patterns, because I need to be able to eliminate Oni. I need to be able to do some sort of analysis on Obake, and I have to try to see if it's going to be Demon again and give it another repel timer. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Hantu. I can hear it go in and out of several different rooms. When it pursued me during the hunt the first time, I didn't see any breath coming out of its mouth, and the breaker is off. There is no breaker to turn on, right? It's broken. So the Hantu is out. So we're down to Mare, Demon, Yuri, Jin, Shade, Oni, Goryo, Mimic, and Obake. Now, if this ghost does come down to not being an Oni, a Demon, or an Obake, this is going to get very tricky very quickly because Mare, Ario, Shade, and Yuri are going to be difficult to test for. At least the Yuri Duraslam I'd be able to hear on the parabolic. I haven't heard it yet. Here it comes. All we got to do is survive. I don't have to get a photo or everything. I just have to survive. Look at that blinking pattern. Let's see. No, definitely not visible enough to be an Oni. Starting the repel timer for Demon. I'm going to get rid of Oni. And the hunt appears to be over. I do not hear anything anymore. Let's get ourselves over to a light switch, because light switch will let us know if the ghost is hunting or not, because if you can move the light switch, it's not hunting. If you can't move the light switch, it is hunting. So if it decides to go ahead and start hunting in less than a minute and 30, I will know based on when I can and cannot move the light switch. It has been 50 seconds. Getting an early hunt right now would be such an amazing victory. But I have a feeling the ghost is not going to make it that easy on us. It has been a minute and 5 seconds. A minute and 20 seconds and no hunts. And there you have it. Almost exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds in hunting. Again, you almost can't even rule out Demon because it's so close that you just don't know. But it definitely didn't do an early hunt. So I'm going to have to, at least for the sake of this round and time, rule out Demon. The only other thing right now we can really do is we haven't seen Obake shapeshift. Does that mean it doesn't exist? Absolutely not. Realistically, we've only seen it for a handful of hunts and no more. But I'm going to have to rule out Obake as well for the time being. I don't have enough incense to go ahead and try to test for that any longer than that. Another fact you can look at here is Mimic. Do you see any other ghost abilities being shown that you didn't see before? One of the examples would be, does it suddenly teleport on top of you for a Wraith? Does it suddenly start roaming towards you for Banshee? Is it suddenly a lot faster or slower than it was previously? All those different varying ghost abilities, you can go ahead and say to yourself, this is going to be a Mimic, even though I didn't see ghost orbs. The ghost speed is very consistent, though. And oh boy, it's getting close. Back it up, back it up. You can hear those throws. It's definitely throwing stuff, but it's not throwing anything any more than I think a normal ghost would at that speed. I also have to ask myself, is it possible this ghost is spawning from the same location over and over again? To be fair, we've been in here for a while now. It has not moved any further back or further closer to me. There's always a possibility this is a Goryo with no abilities. The only Goryo ability that it has on no evidence runs is that it cannot change favorite rooms, being there over and over and over again. There's two ghosts in Phasmophobia that can't change favorite rooms, Banshee and Goryo. But the Banshee should have tried to roam towards me at this point. And with how much I'm using Parabolic, maybe even have gotten the Banshee screen by now. What I think may not be a bad idea is to figure out, is it coming out of the same room? I have a general idea of where on the grid it keeps showing up at the beginning of the hunt. If I see the circle start at that spot again, I'm going to say it's probably the same room. So where it's starting from right now is pretty much basically 1, 2, 3 lines in You can see those first two lines are very close together. The third line is far off in the distance. It's always spawning roughly about that distance away from me, around that third line. And there it is, almost right on the third line exactly. So it's going forward. It's going to come back, and it's going to go into the chapel, I'm assuming. Or it's going to keep going forward. Seems like it's going down the hallway near the kitchen. It's in the kitchen right now. I've also not heard any Yuri door slams yet. I feel like I would have heard one by now, so I'm going to say no Yuri. I'm also going to say no Mimic, no mimicking abilities. Mimic can change ghost types every 30 seconds and 2 minutes. Nothing going on there. So we're down to Shade, Jin, Goryo, Onryo, or Mare. Very difficult indeed. Let's say, for example, I were to go in that ghost room and sit there for a few seconds. Even if it didn't hunt and it dropped all activity and it was a Shade, that's great and everything, but the moment I leave that room, the Shade's going to hunt as normal, and I'm going to be a sitting duck at 50% player speed. So there really is no realistic way for me to test for that. The same goes for Onryo. The Onryos would stop hunting because of the flame, but eventually it would move somewhere else. It would eventually come and get me. I'm going to give it one more hunt. Is it going to spawn in that room again? Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, the speed's not giving anything away. Neither is the interactions. It's all sounding pretty baseline. I think the best thing to do in this scenario is call it a Goryo. Say that it's been hunting from nearly the same area almost the entirety of this round. And with a 15 times multiplier, I would really have hoped that it would have changed rooms by now or got a little bit closer to me, a little bit further away. Closer would be detrimental to my safety, but still definitely a factor nonetheless. Can we make it to the door before it decides to hunt again? That is the big question. Oh, it's getting close. The door is locked. It is hunting. I'm going to turn off my electronics. I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you think that you being at the front door right here is safe, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's all the way on the other side of the location, there's no way it can make it to me here. Do not think that way. Get out of line of sight. Hide a little bit behind a corner or something, because this goes to 150% speed, and you would be super surprised how much ground it can cover in a very short duration of hunt. Thankfully, on the parabolic, I don't hear anything nearby, so that's great to know that I'm a little bit safe right now. The hunt is over. Let's get out of here. So recap time for Ghost. What Ghost are we not comfortable ruling out? Jin, no breaker on. Shade, can't be in the room to figure out if it's doing any less activity. Goryo, not changing rooms. That's going to be my guess this round. Onryo, haven't really done a lot of testing with flames, so I don't really know. One of the things I can say for sure is as it's been running in and out of the chapel area with me twice, it's never blown out a candle in there that I can see. So maybe that's one reason to go ahead and say no on. Mare, never done a light switch interaction near the ghost's room with it, so I don't know if it's going to be Mare or not. Even Obake, a very high-level guess, because Obake shapeshift could still happen. It happens guaranteed on the 12th blink of the hunt. I can almost guarantee to you that I have not seen the 12th blink of that hunt. Maybe I have by some stroke of luck, but it's really a high-level guess. Based on the fact that this ghost doesn't seem to be changing general locations from where I can sense it on where I can sense it in the parabolic, I'm going Goryo. We have all of our objectives completed. We have our 3-star ghost photo. Let's take our best attempt at this. Honestly, though, it was a solid attempt. I feel very good about it. Win or lose with a ghost type, that was a good strat to go ahead and taking on the Apocalypse Gold. It was the Jin. Very, very unfortunate. The Jin is going to be that one ghost that you really couldn't test for, even if you wanted to, because there is no breaker available to go ahead and turn on and allow it to do the Jin speed boost ability. Although it wasn't a successful round due to certain circumstances, we did very well. And I believe that this gives you a good framework to try to go ahead and attempt the Apocalypse Challenge on your own. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about the Apocalypse Challenges, let me know down in the comment section below. I truly appreciate you taking out the time to watch this, and I wish you the absolute best of luck in your challenges here. They're the hardest challenges Phasmophobia has to offer for a reason. Do not get discouraged. Go ahead and take your best attempt at them. A lot of it's going to be RNG. Do you have good objectives? Do you have a good ghost location? Do you have a good ghost type? This video was a perfect example that having a bad ghost type could ruin all of your efforts, no matter what. So best of luck to you all. Until I see you all next time, stay crispy.